Oh, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I was really interested in talking today about this European war. It's more than what it seems, especially from an energetic point of view. And I wanted you to know that there are some things that you can do to try and help with this situation. It's a karmic thing between the two leaders, the two main leaders. They've obviously been together before in other lives, and now they have a karmic connection again, and they have got into this karmic stalemate or lock between the two of them, and that's why we've got this war ensuing, and the way it has lingered and gone on, and how it's not resolving. When these things are like that, it's because the karma hasn't actually been complete yet, but I feel it will be completed. But we can help with this because it's a karmic problem. We can actually send a lot of healing to the Ukraine and also to Russia. And I implore that you will do this. I do it all the time. Every time I think of the Ukraine and their leader and Russia and their leader, I send healing to both areas. So I'm sending it to 4 places. And the reason we need to send healing is because there is a danger of another big war. It won't be a war that we were really looking for. It'll come, I feel, we're blindsided almost with it. Even though we know on some level it could be a war, there's a part of us that isn't willing to go there on a world level. However, it is possible. And that's why I'm putting out this SOS, I suppose, to everybody to please send healing and light and love to those 2 areas. It's not necessary to have this war because we're supposed to be in a place where we're coming from love and peace and negotiation and compromise. However, at this stage that hasn't happened, and the door has been opened and closed and opened and closed, but no one really wants to go through the door properly. However, because there's darkness when I look, and redness, when I look at Ukraine and Russia, I see dark and I see a lot of red, which is the anger. I feel that we can send a lot of light to those areas and a lot of love and light and love to the people who are engaged in this horrible war that they didn't really want to have anything to do with. So I think you can send it to the troops on either side. You can send it to all the civilians who are being injured and hurt and losing their life and their livelihoods and their hope of a future. You can send it to them. And I feel that by sending a lot of healing and light, it's going to actually change how that area looks, both areas look, and possibly bring about a resolution, a peaceful resolution. If we don't do this, it will just stay dark and black, and there's the likelihood of that it will explode. And we don't really want that, because that's going to not only injure so many people, it's going to have repercussions. Like if you throw a big rock in the water, it's just going to go boom, 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 and the whole world will be affected. And after COVID, nobody needs that. We need the healing of the world. We don't need more disarray. We don't need more problems in the world right now. And there's a lot of anger in the world. People are angry about lots of things, their own personal stuff, and then they've got the world stuff. And this has manifest from anger from the past, from those 2 leaders, which is now manifesting into their countries. On some level, we know that people want peace, and they want to have safety and feel that their country is a good place to live. Right now, I don't think either country feels safe for the people who live there. And this is what we need to do, is send lots of healing, because the more we change the energy of those 2 areas, the greater the likelihood that you'll come to a better resolution. And it's still not set. When I check in, it's still undecided, which is great really, because while it's undecided, it actually means that there's no decision that's concrete, and it's not just going down a one-way path. There's sort of 2 paths. It's what I see. And the more we light the path to peace and reconciliation, negotiation, and putting down our arms and actually sitting and talking to each other and figuring out how we're going to fix this, the more likely they will go down the path. And that's the other thing you can do if you see the 2 paths. Just keep sending light and love to the path that goes to resolution and peace. Too many people have died. Too many people have been injured. Too many people's lives have been destroyed. And we don't want it now to escalate and more countries become involved to the point that we do have a World War III. And it actually is a possibility. The word I got that would be cataclysmic. I feel you can do a lot. I'm doing my bit. I'm telling people I know. Can you please tell any spiritual people that you know, or religious people too, to put in their prayers, to the Ukraine and to Russia, and pray for peaceful resolution and ask that guidance be given. Those two leaders could be swayed by a spiritual guide of theirs, because they've both got their set of guides. But while they're so angry, it's quite hard for them to come through and for them to listen. However, I do believe that the spiritual work that we do kind of filters down and can manifest and change things in the world. We can alter things by the way we do it, because they have manifest this through karmic and negative energy and issues with power and control. So if we send love and light and healing to both leaders and then to those places, those countries, then that can actually make a difference. It can actually dissipate some of it and maybe come to a more fruitful conclusion. If we don't do anything energetically or spiritually or from a religious praying point of view, there will be maybe no hope, I feel. It either will linger and go on and on and on, or it actually maybe one day will actually explode into something we really don't want to see. And that's the other thing. The world suffered quite a lot in the last few years on many levels, and we don't want to see any more suffering. We want the world to heal now. We need to come from love and be loving and kind to each other, not kill each other anymore, not destroy each other's countries and lives. We need to be able to come to the table and negotiate and come to fair understanding and fair rationale, because while people are doing it this way, there's no fair reasoning. So when you do your work, when you do your prayers, send lots of light and love and healing to the area and the leaders. Whenever you think of the Ukraine, Russia, or what's happening in Europe and some of the other countries who are involved, send healing to them as well, because they're actually part of the issue. And actually, if they all withdrew, I think there would be a better chance of some kind of reconciliation. But while everyone's got fingers in the pie, I think it's making it more difficult as well. It doesn't really matter what you think politically to do this. What you're doing is being impartial, being neutral, not putting blame on either party, and you're just saying, I'm sending this for peace, I'm sending this for love, I'm sending this for the healing of each country, because that's what we're really doing. We're sending healing to the Ukraine, and we're sending healing to Russia, and doing that, possibly we can send healing to the whole situation. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for listening to the podcast. 2023 is a very explosive year. It's really going to have earthquakes and lots of other things in this year, riots and people getting angry everywhere and stomping their feet. It's that kind of year, but sometimes it needs to happen to be voiced or expressed. However, we don't want it to the degree that we could actually have a World War III. We really don't need that. The world doesn't need that. We need to be going in another direction. And that's where people like you are listening to my podcast. You're going to be the people who basically give it a chance, because you're sending good energy to those places, and that can only be a good thing. So off you go and do your light work like I do. And remember, if you just attach every time you think, every time I think or hear something about it, I've attached and I'm sending healing and light to both areas with no judgment on either leader or situation. That is completely non-political. It's just for world peace and for the peace in the hearts of these people as well, so they can go to home and go to bed and go to sleep and live in peace and live in love. That's what the mission is. I think you can do it. I'm going to do it. And then I know, even if there doesn't turn out and it falls on the wrong side, that at least I know I did everything I could do, and that was my part of trying to heal this terrible situation. So I'm sending you lots of love and lots of light.